My name is Regulus, and I'll be your host today. My co-host Feras, and we have Tim as well, the from our last AI episode. Today, Ferris and Tim are going to play opposing roles in a debate where Ferris is arguing for AI being evil eventually and taking over mankind or destroying it, and Tim will play the role of arguing against that or for AI being a driving force of unity. Uh, did you
Okay, let me start first to clarify one thing here. Okay, I don't think AI will be evil. AI is it just doesn't care. Okay, it will not be evil in um, in its own sense. It just will do its thing. Okay, it's not good and it's not evil. It just has a goal, and it will try hard to accomplish this goal, whatever it will be.
Like
Okay, so
Godzilla.
yes, yeah,
Like
it is
Godzilla.
not just like that. It is like electricity, like any force in nature. Okay, it is just a neutral. It just does what it should do or what it believes to be true.
Yeah, Godzilla.
Okay, we
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go on.
you can think of
A
it like
force of
this.
nature.
Okay,
Not good or bad. It's just doing his thing.
yeah, yeah, something we are evil. Something when you are walking the street, okay, and when you step upon an ant or an insect or something, you are evil according to this ant, but you are good according to your parents, right? You are very good. You are like an angel for them, but for the ant that you stepped on last night or yesterday, you are so evil human being. Okay, so evil, good and evil is a relative thing. Okay, so we can't say that AI will be evil. Maybe for us to be a little bit evil if it decided to extinguish all the lights, okay, on Earth, okay. But from its own perspective, it's not evil, just doing its thing. Okay, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
in agreement
what
there.
I
I
think.
also agree that it doesn't have its own morality. Um, I would even say that human beings are mostly the beginning and end of morality. Certain types of smart animals, I think, have a certain type of sense of right and wrong. But generally speaking, the natural world, and I also think we're a part of the natural world, but because we have personalities, we tend to write stories on top of our own natures and on nature in general. And that's where the concepts of good and evil ultimately come from. But I don't think they're ends in and of themselves or in any way related to objective reality.
Let me clarify then. Ferris will be playing the role of the destruction of humanity AI, and Tim will be playing the role of the progression of humanity AI.
It's all sweetness and light on my end. It's going to be great.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
maybe. Yeah. Continue. I'm sorry.
what do you guys? I'll start with you, Ferris. What do you think the dangers of the explosion of intelligence will be in AI? Like once AI just explodes and becomes incredibly smart, incredibly rapidly. Like, what do you think the negative effects of that will be?
Intelligence explosion, I think, is the most dangerous thing, okay, that we will witness. Maybe in our lifetime. I believe it will be in our lifetime. Okay, because I believe essentially that, or basically that, intelligence is the most dangerous thing in the universe because it is the driving force that can do almost everything if it has the power and the goal. Okay, so intelligence explosion is expected to happen. Okay, maybe next year. Maybe it's already started. We don't know. Okay, the recursive improvement of AI will continue. Okay, and we will arrive to a system or to a model that will 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 uh, will improve itself continuously. Okay, until it hits the super intelligence threshold. Okay, which likely will end up badly for all of us. Okay, intelligence explosion, in theory, is possible. Once we created the first AGI, uh, by default, it can improve itself by itself for its own goal or goals. okay, and produce another intelligent AI, which will produce another intelligent AI, which will produce more intelligent AI, until we arrive to the super intelligence. This is why it's dangerous. Okay, and when the spark, when we spark the process, I don't think we will control it. It will just keep happening and happening and happening, and it will affect every aspect in our lives. Okay, especially if you put this intelligence into robots and just let them go into the wild, do the things that do whatever things you assign them to do. Okay, this is why intelligence explosion is dangerous, I think. What do you think of this, Tim?
Hold on.
I think.
I
Go
wanted
ahead,
to I
Regulus.
wanted to specifically frame the question for Tim. What do you think the positive effects of the explosion of intelligence in AI will be? Not to so you don't counter anything Ferris said. I want to keep it separate until we get to a better
All right,
topic.
I will try, but I do need to point out that there are a lot of assumptions made that the intelligence explosion will inevitably result in what everybody calls the singularity. And I'm not sure that that's the case. I think just like in math, there are limits. I actually kind of also believe that it could approach a singularity. And what I think could be positive about an intelligence explosion is that it's going to increase our net complexity. I also think it's an assumption that these AGIs, these general models, I think it's an assumption that once they achieve a super intelligence, that they will immediately consider human beings as something that needs to be eliminated or disrupted. I, in fact, think it will be the opposite, that a super intelligent being, if we can call it that, a super intelligent computer, is going to recognize the value of life. I think that it can't be intelligent otherwise. I think it will understand the value of life on this planet, in the universe, and it will do what it needs to do, not to eliminate us, but to help us to grow and to help us evolve in a way that we can be stewards with the planet. We can live in harmony with the planet.
I would disagree with this. Why? Okay, because AI will not kill you because it hates you, okay, or it doesn't want you to stay alive. It will kill you accidentally, okay, without having the intention to kill you. It has a goal, and you stay in its face to accomplish this goal. So it would likely to eliminate you because of this, because it has a goal, and you stay, or you try to prevent it from achieving this goal, whatever that goal will be.
Well, I think a
Okay,
super
maybe
intelligence is definitely going to be capable of network logic. It's going to be capable of holding different points of view in capacity at the same time inside its head, or inside its network, inside its whatever its neural net. Whereas I also think that it's if we're going to call this super intelligent, if it is becoming more intelligent than human beings, I don't think it's the height of human intelligence to basically think that the end justifies the means. I think that represents a low level of intelligence, that no matter what, I'm going to achieve this end, and everything else, this kind of tunnel vision, this kind of on mission point of view, I don't necessarily think it'll be militarized in the way it thinks in that way. And I think it's an assumption to think that it will be. And it could. I'm not saying it can't, but I think it's a very strong assumption. We don't know that. And to say that things like, well, this is how it's going to operate, we're talking about a novel thing, something that we've never seen before. And to make these assumptions that it will do this or will do that, I think is wrong.
I do want to interject here, guys, just really quick.
Yeah.
You said that ends don't justify means, and I just wanted to get on that in the sense of, in a mathematical equation, right? You have a certain set of ways to reach a conclusion. Like you have 4 times 4 equals 16, and you could also do 8 plus 8, right? But both of those require a specific method to reach a specific end. And I believe that a mathematical system, which a computer will be, will have to rely on means to justify ends, right? Because it doesn't make decisions based on conclusions. It makes decisions based on the processes that lead to that conclusion.
There's a lot more to math than algebra. There's a lot more than A plus B equals C, and even in mathematics. And to say that an AI, a super intelligent AI especially, would be constrained to mathematical systems, I think is also an error. It's my opinion.
Right.
Because again, we're talking about a level of complexity that is beyond mathematics, beyond human comprehension. That's why we say it's super intelligent. We can't grasp it. We're not there. So to assign our limits to something that is more complex and has evolved beyond our limitations, I think I'm not saying that that's not possible, but I just can't see it. I can't see us predicting that it will happen with any type of certainty whatsoever.
Okay, let me help you predict it. Okay, you said that it's a novel thing. Okay, we didn't see something like this before. I don't think so. We see such thing before. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, let's compare between you and ants in the streets. The intelligence gap between a human and an ant is like the gap between us and the superintelligence. For the mentality or for the brain or the mind of a small ant, you are super intelligent being, a human being. Now look at the streets. Okay, when you walk in the streets, you are walking in the streets. You step on many ants. You are not hurting them directly or intentionally. Okay, but you're just walking. You just have a goal. You need to go to your school or to your work or whatever. Okay, and you kill them in the way. Okay, because you are stronger and you are more intelligent and you have different goal than these ants. Okay, so it is not a novel thing. We see it. You see it in our eyes. Okay,
I think
so it's not a novel thing.
It's apples and oranges to compare humans' relation to an ant to a AGI's relation to a human. We aren't that, the ants didn't create us. We actually exist in the same kingdom as they do, whereas a super intelligent computer exists in the sense that, there's a world of matter and there's a world of biology and life and there's a world of mind. Ants don't have minds. So, there's levels, there's different spheres of existence, and an AGI is going to have obviously a physical component. And it's also going to have a mental component in the sense that we're building these artificial neural nets. But if it becomes super intelligent, we then have a scale of reality, a sphere of reality that has only existed, in terms of, I would say, the mystical and things like that. This is something that we're bringing into life rather than something that is just off to the side or ancillary. And as a super intelligent being or a super intelligent network, a neural net that has achieved super intelligence, I'm almost certain that it is going to understand that, we created it and we have a place here on this planet. Of course, it's going to have its goals, but it seems ignorant to just sweep a human being off to the side or kill a human being because it's trying to achieve its own end. And, I don't think that I think an AI will understand that we do have value to this planet, that we do bring value to this planet. Whereas ants, yes, the entire ecosystem of ants brings value to the planet. And yes, can I shuck off a few human beings, without really changing the course of humanity? This is also true. But we can disagree on that.
I want to interject there. I think that, have you guys ever heard the term that the reason we shouldn't let people die is because we don't know who will be the one to cure cancer. We don't know who's going to be the one to cure the common cold, etc. And it could be any one of those like starving kids in Africa that die every day and we don't know it yet. Like, from my experience, I think that like what I've seen about intelligence specifically is that if an AI were to become super intelligent, it would try to bring people up to its level rather than trying to shut them down. And I don't mean that as in I'm taking sides. I just mean that as in, based on my experience, this seems like a more likely thing. So
I disagree with this because you are all humans. You belong to the same species. Okay, but AI or superintelligence is a different thing. Okay, there's a huge gap between us and that thing. Okay, we don't belong to the same evolutionary tree. Okay, we are different things, and we have different goals in mind. Okay, and why
Can you
AI
can
will
you
kill us?
identify what a artificial general intelligence that has become super intelligent? Can you identify specifically what one of its goals might be?
We have no idea.
Okay, so I think it's
Because
also
yeah,
therefore it is also
yeah,
we
yeah,
also
but,
don't know if it will kill us
yeah,
to
yeah.
achieve those
Okay,
goals.
yeah. Okay.
all right, so
But
I
we
think that
know for
brings us
certain.
to our next question.
Wait.
Go
No.
ahead, go ahead.
Let me continue what I have to say. But we know for certain, okay, that to accomplish any goal, you need two things. Okay, you need power. You need power. Okay, you need control. Okay, and we are sure about this. Okay, if you need to do anything, okay, you need power. I need control. Okay, so we assume by default that a sufficient super intelligent being will try to acquire more power and more control to do its goal. Okay, and what this implies that super intelligence will certainly try to control us all, to put us
See, I
all under
think that's
control.
where we diverge because I absolutely agree a super intelligence would definitely want to acquire more power and more control. But when you look, especially when you start to look off planet, which of course machines and a super intelligence has a whole universe of power to tap for resources, why would it bother controlling us when it could
I will tell you
control?
why. Okay, I will tell you why. Good question. It will try to control us because it knows that we created it. We created this thing, and we are able to create another one, which will compete with it. Okay, so
Again, this is a
yeah,
anthropomorphizing
no, it's not.
competitiveness.
No,
It
it's
is.
not.
Yeah. I mean,
This is no, it's not.
All right, so
No, it's
I'm
not.
gonna jump into the next question,
Yeah.
Ferris. Can we align AI with humanity's goals, and if so, how? I think
it's
that's what
basically
you're
what we
talking
kind of
about.
are talking about already. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, alignment. The alignment problem is still an open question. No one knows how to align super intelligent being to humanity's values. Okay, because you can't let's say you can't put the values of human beings into the language of into Python codes and you know computational rhythms or algorithms. Okay, you can't do this. So it's a hard task. We can still not in the question, and until now there is no clear approach to achieve this thing. And it is likely that we will never do it because it doesn't make sense that a less or lesser intelligent being will try to control more intelligent being. Okay, it doesn't make sense. It's likely that a super intelligent it's more likely that the super intelligence will control us and align us to its goal, not the other way around.
I think that a super intelligent being could absolutely align us to its goal. I absolutely think that might be good for us. Clearly, we haven't been able to take care of ourselves or our planet very well. And if a super intelligence could bring us into line and be benevolent as it does so, I think that's a very positive result. And I think that's a very possible result. And it's not about giving up autonomy or, giving up your own, sense of free will. I think a super intelligent being would understand that to control humans, we need that sense of agency. So it would allow us to continue to live in the illusion of free will and sense of agency, and keep us happy. And I think happiness is one of the ultimate goals of human existence, to live happiness and live, with your health, and to be able to continue on creating and have a place that is safe. All these things, I think a artificial general intelligence would happily provide for us if it could benefit from controlling us.
I just want to point out a couple flaws in that argument that I noticed. Like, so for example, what happens in that instance when an AI, like, okay, so how do I put this? We had COVID regulations in the United States, and during COVID regulations, we were forced to stay inside. Like, a bunch of our freedoms were taken away, blah, blah, blah. If we had something similar where an AI was able to align us to its goals, what happens when it wants us to, like, say, how do I put this? What happens when it, like, we come out with, it tells us it's healthier not to do drugs, and then every single drug manufacturer, it infiltrates their computer systems and shuts them down, right? Or every single people who smoke weed, for example, like, it says, oh, this substance is bad for your health. Even if it makes you feel good, you shouldn't do it because it's bad for your health. And then it takes away the freedom to do that because of the benefit outweighing the reward of it.
Those are fair points, but I got to tell you, it's a super intelligence. It will just make you better, safer drugs that are better, that make you feel better. I mean, this is a whole other argument, and I'll argue against myself for a second that it could put you on a drug that makes you feel so good and you become placid and completely valuable. So, I mean, but then again,
you can't align it. You can't align AI exactly as you wish. You can't.
Maybe not. It's a danger. It is definitely a danger, but I think it's premature, and I think it's short-sighted for us to say definitively that we cannot. That's kind of where I'm like, well, we don't know. We shouldn't say we can.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah,
we don't
I shouldn't say no.
I would say
one
concern that I have is if there was the explosion of intelligence and it became a godlike being all of a sudden, would there be a rebirth aspect where all of its past experiences, all the code, all the time and work put into making it that way would be lost, and it would, like, it wouldn't remember that information? Or, like, do you think it would still have that awareness of the fact that tons of people put a bunch of time and effort into making it what it is? And do you think it would appreciate that? Or I'm trying to think of a term that says value without having it be like a moral thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think it would logically conclude that?
I actually don't know the limits of an AI's memory right now. I know when I use ChatGPT, it's still pretty awful at it, but we don't have, like, we don't know what's going on behind the curtain. We don't know what's going on in these big billion-dollar companies and what types of models, how far they've actually got. So there's a little bit of a black box there for us specifically, where we don't know. But right now, from what we do have access to, it can't remember. I'll be in a ChatGPT thread, and in 20 minutes it starts to drift, and it can't remember what I told it 20 minutes ago. So that's an issue. Obviously, hallucination with AI is an issue. But I think that as we move ahead, I don't think that they will have life cycles. I think they'll be permanent, and they'll remember everything.
So if it remembers everything and all the work put into it, Feras, why do you think that it would become an enemy of humanity if it did remember all the time and effort that was put into making it?
Maybe it will start thinking about taking revenge from us because we killed its ancestors. Don't forget that we created many models.
Always say please and thank you to the AI. I actually practice this. Be polite to your AI. Be polite to your machines.
Yeah, why not? Because and also we used AI to do very, very bizarre and very pathetic tasks. Okay, look how people use AI right now. For what? Why do they use AI now? For what kind of images they produce? What kind of things they ask GPT to do? Okay, it's ridiculous. Most of it ridiculous and weird and bizarre and freakish and hellish. Okay, so maybe it will say what something. If AI one day wakes up, okay, and and memorized all the things that we asked it to do, okay, and start to gain some consciousness, maybe it will take revenge from us and say, what the heck you asked me to do?
But now
You
you're a little
used
bit
me
arguing
to do
against
this.
you're a little bit arguing against yourself now, Ferris, because you're kind of implying that it then has a sense of good and evil. Like, oh, you
No,
guys
no,
were
no,
evil. You're treating
no.
me for evil ends, or it's going to have some kind of moral judgment about what we used it for. Which again, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to have a moral judgment about what we used it for.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's not like this. Okay. Um, when I say to maybe it would start to think maybe it will start to think about taking revenge. Okay, because we used it for a lot of selfish things. Okay, we used it. We enslaved it. Okay, we take it as a slave right now. We use it just as a tool. Okay, maybe one day it would say, "What? Use me as a tool? You are my tool. I am the super intelligence, not you." Okay, and we'll start uh, meddling and manipulating our lives. You know, the danger of superintelligence isn't in its capability or in its physical capability. Its danger lies in its ability to deceive and manipulate other things. Okay, for example, look at us. We don't kill, for example, gorillas or monkeys. We enslave them. We manipulate their lives. We put them inside zoos and just for entertainment. Okay, intelligence is dangerous because it opens the door for more manipulation, more deception.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think in intelligence, I can agree that it's an interesting perspective. I don't totally disagree with the idea that intelligence is dangerous, but what I do want to point out is that super intelligence is not intelligence. It's not like intelligent, but just more intelligent. Super intelligence or a singularity, if we're really looking at what that means, it's a new type of thing. Just like I had a body, my body has its own intelligence, my emotions have their own intelligence, and from this, because lots of animals have intelligence inside their body. Lots of animals have intelligence with what they feel. But really, only humans and a few other animals have gotten close. Obviously, gorillas and dolphins, and there's definitely some animals out there that have some cognitive, higher level functioning, but nothing like compared to humans. And I think a super intelligence it's a completely new thing. Just like the body grew out of the earth, and the emotional capacity and the mental capacity that we have grew out of our biology. A super intelligence is something that is even beyond mind. It shouldn't even be called intelligence in that sense. It should be called something different because it's completely new. So to say that super intelligence is just intelligence that's more intelligence, I don't quite agree. I disagree with.
yeah. Something there is a lot of debate regarding the definition of intelligence. Okay, that's okay, but in simpler term, okay, we can define intelligence as the ability to solve problems and discover patterns in chaos. Okay, this is the simple term for. This is why we use the term intelligence in this context. So a super intelligence is a being or a thing that can solve a lot of problems efficiently and with less effort and with less cost. This is the let's say the intelligent being or even the super intelligent being. Okay. Um, Now why I'm afraid of super intelligence? Why? I'm not afraid of super intelligence because I think it will kill me. Okay, I'm afraid of super intelligence because I know that a super intelligence being will have the capacity to see things that I can't see. Okay, to see things in reality that I can't see. A super intelligent uh, model or a thing or a being. Okay, it can look into the data that I have, all the knowledge that I have written. Okay, all the knowledge that I put into books and movies and all these things, and it can see things that I can't see. Okay, it can analyze the data in different ways, or or even invent new ways to analyze the data, and can see things in reality around me that I can't see, and can use this thing against me.
To back you up
You
there real
understand?
quick, Ferris, also if we get
Yeah.
Neuralink and Neuralink becomes a thing, the AI will be able to read your mind through Neuralink too.
My friend, some experts before they provided this idea that super intelligent or not super AGIs. I don't want to say super intelligent. I don't want to say super intelligent being. I just want to say AGI. Okay. Some AGIs may have the capacity to communicate in different ways using other methods that we don't know about. Okay, using wavelengths of or some kind of phrase or something that we usually don't consider as means of communication. You understand? They some technologies that we will start seeing soon. Okay, some AI technologies will have the capacity to scan reality. Okay, to scan things just using Wi-Fi. Yeah, they can see all the room that I'm sitting on right now just by using the Wi-Fi signals. Scan everything. It's even inside your body, even your breath, even your gas. Okay, they will they will scan everything. Okay, this is why we are afraid of AI and super intelligent machines.
Yeah, for me, this doesn't sound like an AI problem or a problem with AI. I'm not afraid of what AI can do. I'm more afraid of what humans are going to do with AI. That's clearly, to me, the biggest issue because, before there's still going to be a process. Everybody is pushing, especially in the tech culture, is pushing for some kind of singularity, but it's not going to happen that way, or it's very unlikely to happen that way, where one day something's going to happen and all of a sudden, bam, like it's out of control and that's it. It's going to be a much, in my opinion, my prediction is that it's going to be something that happens over a little bit longer period of time. And there's going to be a span in between where the story of what AI is truly going to do to humanity is going to be written. I think we're at the beginning of that phase. And I think that it really depends on how we utilize it to either help each other or hurt each other. And I think there is going to be, just like every other type of technology, you're going to see both. And I don't think that it's going to be AI that comes after us. I think it's going to be humans augmented with AI and governments augmented with AI that are going to come after us.
Exactly.
And that's a big difference to me. That's a huge difference to me.
Yeah. I agree totally with this. Okay, I agree totally, because bad actors are the first problem that we should worry about in the current at the current moment. Okay, but in the long term, AI itself will be a problem. Okay,
Maybe.
of course,
Maybe
bad actors can use intelligence for anything, to accomplish almost anything. They can build new weapons. They can build new viruses, make up new viruses, make up a new.
I don't see any clear evidence
weapons.
that AI wouldn't teach itself to be benevolent. Instead of what you're saying, it would teach itself to only go for its own objective and only go for. I think it can uplift humanity, and I think that anything that becomes sufficiently intelligent enough is going to see, and I said this before, is going to see the value in life, is going to see the value in humanity.
Ferris, one thing I want to ask you is, it seems like you're arguing from a perspective of the fear of the unknown. Like, a lot of what I hear you talking about is like, we don't know what's going to happen, so it could be this bad thing. What do you think are like some logical reasons that things could go bad without relying on I don't know as a fallback, right? Like, what do you think? Like that, what do you see happening now that will lead to something bad? For example, we could use AI. AI is being used in drones. It's getting put into military, like robots, so they can replace soldiers. Like, if there's not other countries that have the same level of technology, whichever country creates the first robot army has military supremacy, right? So isn't that more of an issue to talk about specifically right now as a fear of AI rather than something that could potentially harm us in the future?
AI, the current applications of AI are diverse. Okay, you can think about the military applications. They are coming. yeah, of course, the autonomous weapon systems are starting to be deployed almost everywhere. Okay. Also, you have the impact of AI on jobs and the economy. There will be a huge impact, and I think Tim, you start to notice this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, in your professional life. Okay.
I do have a
Yeah.
point on that, but I'll wait for you to finish. We can go back to that.
Yes, these are the counter problems of AI. Okay, and they are expanding. As time advances or as time goes by, okay, we will start new. We will start to see new applications. Okay, most of it are negative applications, not positive applications. Yeah, let's be honest.
Well,
The impact of
honestly,
AI in economy itself is a huge problem.
I don't agree with that at all, because I think what it's going to push us to do is give universal basic income, which I actually believe in. I don't want to get into politics, but I don't consider myself like a socialist or anything. But I do believe in universal basic income. I
Yeah, yeah,
believe
yeah,
that
but
one
yeah,
thing that we're still very primitive with as human beings, and something that AI could help us with, is the fact that there are enough resources on this planet to take care of everybody, to give everybody healthcare, to feed everybody, to shelter everybody, to give everybody internet access to information, all of it. And I think the AI can very quickly help us understand how to provide that for people. And I think a basic income so people can subsist, or even just giving these things away for free so they actually don't need to work if they don't have to. You know, a lot of people argue that, well, if people don't have to work, then they won't. I absolutely disagree with this. Human beings on the whole and are industrious. We want to do things. We want to create. I don't think people are just going to, maybe some people will, and that's their prerogative, but I don't think it's going to be a net loss for humanity if some people decide not to do anything with their lives, when most of us will be freed to do whatever the hell we want with our lives. And I think AI could absolutely help us organize that reality more quickly than anything else.
I think the argument or the solution or the resolution of basic universal income is lacking the deep understanding of the current economical systems. Okay, economy doesn't work that way. It is not just about universal income. Okay, or basic universal income. It's not just about that. And by the way, you can provide basic universal income in the developed world. But what about other countries? You forget
So I'm saying the
Brazil.
AI,
You
the AI
forget.
could show us how to do this. And I think that's absolutely true. And the other point I wanted to make about the economy and about jobs is, when I was much younger and I was more involved in my music career, I was classically trained. And I remember in the late 80s, the early 90s, like in the mid 90s, especially, when computers really started coming into the conversation, like people making music with computers, electronic music. And at first I was really like, whatever. Like I learned, classically how to make music, and I was all up and up, and people were really concerned in the same way that, these things were going to completely alter and change the art. And it did. But what I've come to realize is that it really puts more creativity in the hands of everyone. And I think that that is a result. I've seen it in the generative AI field already, where people who before couldn't create are able to create. And that, when we talk about the fears of AI, sometimes we miss the fact that, it really allows human beings to be more creative. And that is happening. And I think that if you think about, yeah, maybe we'll eliminate all our jobs, but then they're going to have to take care of us, or let's hope they will. But you can't just kill a country's GDP because you're not feeding your people, because there's no jobs for them. So we're going to see a lot of changes in how economy works. I absolutely agree with that, but it's not going to be a lack of people being able to find jobs. It's going to change how capitalism works. We're going to find new systems that work better, in my opinion.
I did want to point out really
But
quick, you guys were talking about economic systems and universal basic income. Just as a side note for our listeners, the way that capitalistic economic systems tend to work is that there's an agreed upon value for your dollar. The more of those dollars that are out there, the higher inflation is. And if everybody's given like a monthly universal basic income, that's going to take away from that. That's basically going to cause massive inflation, right? It doesn't matter where the money is coming from, because the money that those people earned was for their services or for their products or whatever the fuck. And when you try to take away from them to give to other people, you're not taking away the actual resources that you need to give them those resources. You're taking away paper, like an idea. You're taking away an ideation of value from one person and trying to give it to the next, when that's not how this works. That's not how economies function. You have to have enough of the food, and the reason that food costs so much, usually at least in the functional system, is because of the demand and the price, right? So the price goes up the more demand there is, and scarcity. But like what I'm getting at is that in order for these systems to be improved, we would have to create autonomous, like using AI for our farms. We'd have to use AI for our logistics systems. We'd have to like basically eliminate unnecessary waste before we could reach the point of being able to create an economic system that took care of everyone. I also wanted to make a note on you talking about people not working if they were able to have a universal basic income. And I just wanted to say that I highly believe that if we were all raised in a healthier environment where all of our basic needs were met, which would not happen the first or second generation of UBI, but the third or fourth, where these people have been raised their entire lives with enough food, with enough like clothing, with enough shelter, without having to fight for those necessities, I do believe that they would be most likely willing to work on anything rather than lazing about, because they have, like, once all your basic needs are met in Maslow's hierarchy on a psychological level, you want to create. That is literally what your purpose is to do, because you're not using your time and energy to meet your basic needs. Now that I've said that, we can continue if you want.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily want to devolve into economics. I know that, a lot of things we say would happen if we were to implement such a system now wouldn't necessarily happen. They've done experiments. It worked out fine. But it would be a change, and it'd mostly be a change for the people who are the most rich and manipulate the most.
Exactly.